The longer that you sit there and you think about how much time you're wasting, think about what you could be doing to be getting closer to your goals anyway, subtly or majorly. Man, I gotta get it together, man. I was talking to this guy earlier today. He was telling me, he was like, bro, like, what skincare do you do? Or like, you know, what lifts do you do? Like, man, I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to work on myself, and I'm trying to be in a position where I can start leveling up. And I don't know what that looks like. You know, you're an entrepreneur. You're doing your own thing. You take a lot of risk. I see you're in the gym a lot. You do a lot of content creating. What does that look like? And you know, the thing that I always notice that a lot of people do is that they want to seek advice from people, which is no problem with that. But whenever I give the advice, or whenever people start doing their own research of what to do, it's like, what does that look like for you to actually start doing it on your own? You know, okay, cool, I can tell you, like, look, this is what you gotta do whenever you go to the gym. Take this before, make sure you eat this after. Okay, well, whenever you're, you know, doing content creating, use this platform, use this and this. But if you never try it and you never come to those terms where you're like, yeah, let me apply this, then you're gonna stay in the same situation for who knows how long. And a lot of people, whenever you come to the term that like, okay, well, like I wanna do something new, I wanna expand myself, I wanna put myself in a new position, they're like, it just sounds nice, right? It doesn't actually feel nice because you're like, you're moving around, you know, you're transitioning, you're doing a lot of different things that you weren't doing. And some of those are gonna be painful. It's not always gonna be just something easy that you could do. Then you're like, man, this is a little bit harder than I thought. I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I have what it takes to really be in this position. I don't know if I'm deserving, quote unquote, of doing this. But whenever you think about it, you're like, man, I had to do this before for this other job or for this other, you know, in school, I had to go through the hard lessons that I didn't want to sit through, but like here I am and now I know it. Now I'm practicing what was taught. And it's like, if you were to actually apply yourself in a way that you're like trying to continue growing, then it's like, okay, I know I'm capable of doing this. I just need to apply myself and be for real about it. I need to dedicate my time to it. I need to be able to be in a position where I could be more and where I could be greater. Because the more that you're just sitting on the couch, the more that you're just watching other people's lives, the more that you're just kind of baiting and waiting for your turn to come, the more time you're wasting to where you're like, man, I should have already been doing this years ago. Imagine how far I would have been if I started this years ago. Imagine how much progress I would have, how much money I would have, how many connections I would have if I started this years ago, if I started this months ago, whenever I first thought about it. And so like a lot of people, they want to be better. They want to be in a position where you're like, man, like, you know, how did you get there? But they don't want to do what it takes. And that's where it comes to a point where you're like staying the same. You know, I did the same thing. I have so many ideas, but I don't want to put all my eggs into different baskets because then I can't fulfill any of those. So for me, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna focus on this, but I'm gonna actually go hard at it. I'm not gonna stop. Whatever happens, happens, but I have to keep going. A lot of people, they put their time and energy into one bucket, and then when it doesn't work out, they're like, oh, I'm cooked. And they're like, I don't know what to do now. Like I had all these other things I wanted to do, but I never started them, or I never even took that first step just to even get to a point where I have a foundation in them. And so it's like, what does that look like for you to really expand, for you to grow outside of what you were already supposed to be working on, right? A lot of people, they want to be better, but they don't want to do what it takes to be better. A lot of people like the thought of being better, but don't like being better. Like they just want it to kind of come to them like a handout. If you were to think about what it really looked like for you in the sense of like where you started years ago and then where you're at right now, how much growth do you have mentally, knowledge-wise, you know, spiritually, in a sense where you're still growing and getting closer to a goal in general of what you're supposed to be working on, supposedly. To be honest with y'all, like I find myself doing the same thing. You know, sometimes I'll be like in a space where I'm like, man, you know, I feel like I should have started this years ago. I feel like I should have already been working on this. I should have already been networking with these people. I should have already been at these certain events. But You have all these things that end up stopping you though. You have relationships because you start getting too comfortable. You're like, oh, well, I'm actually happy where I'm at, so I don't feel like I need to go out and be better because the person loves me or likes me for who I am already. Oh, okay, well, like the timing, like there's this event that I want to go to, but I have to go to work, so I can't really be there like as much as I would want to be there. Okay, well, like, you know, I'm still with my parents and they need me to be able to cater to them, so it takes away the timing, you know, it takes away my catering, it takes away the things that I actually want to desire to go do, but you're like, I can't do them because of blank. Oh, I'm in school, so I actually can't do that until I have this degree, right? Like, you have all these things that potentially can hold you back, but then at the same time, you have things that you can subtly be doing to be improving on those. Other things that you could be doing to continue your growth as you're like transitioning through the process. And a lot of people don't think about that, because when they think about that, they're like, well, then that's a lot on my plate. You know, that's a lot I gotta deal with. That's a lot of stress that I have to think about. That's a lot that is gonna be added to what I already got going on and stuff like that. And then you're stuck in the same spot that you were, as if you hadn't even started what you really wanted to do. Like my mom, she's been wanting to buy a house for years, right? But it just wasn't that time yet, you know? And she had to do what she had to do to really get to a point where she can have the money to be able to afford a house in today's economy. You know, that required more schooling, that required more hours, that required more hard work that she had to put in. But like years ago, she wanted a house. And so sometimes, as much as you might want something, as much as you might want to crave going after something, you just have to realize that it's going to be on God's timing anyway. Because as much as you want something right now, is not always going to happen. Sometimes God's going to be like, yeah, but as much as you want this, you're not ready for that yet. And so for that being said, wait just a little bit longer. And that might take a couple years, might take a couple months, might be next week. But eventually, God will be like, all right, thank you for being patient. Let me answer your DM, if you will. The longer that you sit there and you think about how much time you're wasting, think about what you could be doing to be getting closer to your goals anyway, subtly or majorly. And if they haven't come yet, the opportunities haven't come yet, that's where you just trust God and think, okay, maybe I'm not in position, maybe I'm not ready for it yet. And even if you feel like you're ready, to still trust what God has for you. God, at the end of the day, is the only one that's in control. You know? Like, we all desire things. Everyone wants to be like, oh, 50K would be nice right now. Oh, a raise would be nice right now. Being out of the house and being in a new environment would be nice right now. Having a new car would be nice right now. I got all these problems with credit and with bills and all this financial stuff. That would be nice right now. But not yet. And there's no problem with that, you know, and, you know, people try to rush the process of life because they feel like they're on a time crunch. People are like, oh, well, I'm only in my 20s once, or, you know, I'm starting to get older, so I want to look for a relationship that's going to last. I want to be able to take care of my family, so I really do need this raise, and I really want to do it right now. But the longer that you realize that everything won't be right now, that the gratification is going to be delayed, that's where you have to be like, God, I trust what you have for me, because I'm not even in control of everything. That is up to you, and I have to put my faith in you at the end of the day. Lesson of the day is trust what God has for you, because the longer that you're like, okay, well, let me try to do all this on my own, I'm not going to waste any time, so I'm just going to put so many things into different baskets, like, you're going to end up realizing that you're going to be super stretched out. You're going to be stressed. You're going to be in a position where you can't even have the time to cater to the things that you need to cater to a point where you'll think about it. You know, it'll start to hit you. And what you'll do is you'll be like, man, I really feel like I'm doing so much, but I don't have any results. And when you have that realization, then that's even worse than not doing anything, because you feel like you're doing so much with nothing to show for it. So trust what God has for you. Trust the timing that He's giving to you. You know, this is a season that's going to help you build for the next one, right? And a lot of people don't look at it like that. They're just like, my God must really hate me, because if He loved me, He He would give me what I love, and he would give me what I desire, and he'd give me what I need right now. But that's not always how God works. So this is a quick video, kind of just giving you guys some gems to slow down. Slow down your process. As much as you want to go get it, go get it, go get it, go get it, do what you are capable of doing and leave the rest to God. So those things being said, that's all I got for y'all today. Like this video, comment, and share it with somebody that you know that needs to hear this. But until then, go on.